So I had to decide 6 years ago to disengage from the fight and to take my family once again on another journey. I had to take myself out of full-time academia and out of the telemedicine fight and with you standing shoulder to shoulder at the ATA. And I had to decide where I was going to make a difference. And there's 3 areas that I felt I had some confidence in. First of all, telemetry, because quite frankly, I'm going to give you some secrets. We do 250 million operations a year, and 6 million of those operations have poor outcomes of deaths, and that is a shame, and that is something that cannot be allowed to stand. My own field of interest, minimally invasive surgery, where we take these cameras and these small instruments and we don't open you up and do these surgeries that can let you get back to work earlier. We have only a 17% adoption rate. In other words, only 17% of the people can have this modern day miracle, and the rest has to fend for itself. That, my friends, is something that cannot be allowed to stand. Next, I can help with awareness. And finally, I believed that I had an opportunity to help with patient-centered healthcare empowerment. You notice I didn't use the word education because that's the new 4-letter word. The word I want you to understand is empowerment, because when you teach and train, you actually empower someone to make a difference with something that counts, with metrics that matter. That's how we move the needle. So, telemetry, what did you do, Butch? Look at this picture. See, this is the picture of, Butch Rosser, that Ron Yarrow loved, that Jay Sanders embraced, that Patrick nurtured. 6'4", 450 pounds. And I was blessed to have a minimally invasive surgery that changed my life 10 years ago. 450 pounds. Now, you look at me now, I'm still a big unit at 290 pounds. But I'm a healthier big unit that's run 3 5Ks. What happens as you look at the landscape, and because we don't have the expertise universally available, I was able to be saved and others are not. That cannot be allowed to stand. The way I look at it, we want to do what we did with that person in the Dominican Republic, 3,000 miles away. I'm here to announce that we should have the mantra of the future of surgery, that no surgeon should enter the operating room alone. And with that confidence and oversight, we can spread the modern day miracle of the art form I love. And we let that know in one of the articles, the journalists associated with the ATA. And I'm here to announce to you today, as I told my friend Ron Yarrow yesterday, I am not going to rest until the world has at its disposal the global surgical telemetry network, and no surgeon shall enter the operating room alone. We have the tools. We have the tools that can give us the tactical information deployment that we need to make a difference. We have the tools, like here in Haiti, of the telecommunication equipment that can bring expertise in a time of crisis. We have the tools, but the tools cannot make the difference. We need process and methodology. When that gentleman in the Dominican Republic had to do that surgery in front of all those millions of people, he had gone through our methodology. We had pre-procedural assessment of his laparoscopic skills, and yes, Like some of you in this audience, they went through Top Gun and they had a report card. That's right, I had a report card on these surgeons. I knew if they were one of the greatest surgeons of all times or a legend in their own mind. We had transferred the knowledge with computer-based education from afar. We had judgment and methods of judgment that had been matured with our access program. We employed military two-way communications. We established a standardized training algorithm. We familiarized them with the teleguides tool. That's right, when they trained with a telementor over their shoulder. And the initial setup, I went to my favorite stores, Radio Shack and Lowe's. And then, of course, they had to go through the simulation lab. I knew that person better than the person who signed his certificate to become a surgeon. So now we have a process. We have a 2-day course. And you know what? I felt a little better about myself. Then the next area is awareness. We have to bring the role of telemedicine into the household. And some of you may have seen me on Dr. Oz last month, and I've guided him to promise that in season 4, and this is the #1 show on television, he's going to do an episode of telemedicine. Awareness. We have to impact the heart and not just the head. Great things are not done by what resides within your cranial vaults. Great things are done with what resides in your chest. So, patient-centered healthcare. Big thing. How can you expand the workforce unless you recruit patients? There are those that look at the data and say, what? Butch, what are you talking about? 80% of the patients in America can't read a prescription and understand what it is. How in the world are you going to transfer complex things? Well, I'm going to show you what I've been working with. Innovation in surgery. We showed the world that we could dissect the collateral learning assets of video games and utilize brain-based learning to speed the transfer of knowledge and the ability to use that knowledge to accomplish great things. These are the collateral learning assets. Ron, Merrill, and I actually published that paper together. That was the #1 downloaded paper in 2007. What I had done is I had come up with a new training pedagogy that actually you could learn without knowing you're learning because you had fun, and it incorporated every learning style all at once. So let me give you some examples of this. I want to show you how we're transferring STEM-based concept to kids. Take a look at it. And look at I want you to look at the technique. The music, #1. This and the movement is mobilizing your cerebellum. The cerebellum is 1/6 the size of the brain and has 50% of the neurons you never use. The dopamine is now kicking in to be able to mobilize those synaptic bindings. And you notice beside the movement and the images, everything was done 3 times. How many people know about the Teletubbies? Exactly. You have a kid, your parent or grandparent know about Teletubbies. That is based on a neuroscientific fact that things that are reproduced with music and sound 3 times in a row is better retained. But I know right now you're still in doubt. And I'm going to introduce something to you that right now is a world's first. The use of stealth learning and mobile computing to be able to train people at GE Aero to suppress their errors in building jet turbines for use in power plants. And let me show you how we did it. So imagine this now. This is in a different vertical, but we have to have trans-vertical exchange. Look at how you can get them to understand different components of something that is mechanical and have fun. Now take a look. How about math and transferring complex math concepts? Let's have a little volume and listen to this. The music, the movement, the challenge, the engaged consequentiality. A little more volume. Okay, let's look at the next example. Proper assembly. Let's look at the last example. Now you use a video game to solidify all that knowledge and speed the transfer. And now look at them using it. Look at the face. He's 24 years old. Slowly the difference. Okay, I can understand. Well, who's younger? Look at someone 30 years of singing. Look at how focused they are. This is what we're going to have to do. Create these apps that can train the patients, ordinary people, to do great things. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take time right now. Jay, John, Bernard, Dr. Merrill, and many of you out there know and love me over the years, I want to take time to apologize. Apologize for 6 years ago leaving the scene. But I hope you won't be too mad at me after hearing this story. It was a journey that I feel I had to make. And thank God I had a beautiful wife and a great family of 5 kids that said, Daddy, it's okay. We will stand with you. And now I make a pledge that I am back and I'm ready for you to use me any way you see fit. I am going to go to the booth and renew my HA membership. And those of you who have not, I want you to follow me, because now is our